All right, so I had a friend come up to me the other day, and she has a niece who has a birthday party coming up. And this niece is really into the show Troll Hunter, and she wants the shadow staff from Troll Hunter for her birthday. So she asked me if I could make it. So naturally, I said yes without having thought it through as to exactly how I was going to make this. So I started brainstorming, how can I make this thing out of foam? Can I make a mold and pour epoxy into it and break it out of the mold? And then I thought to myself, you know what? Why don't I just make this out of wood, which is what I know how to do. So I thought, you know what? I can probably just carve this thing out of wood. The only issue is I've never carved anything out of wood in my life. So I did what any person would do, and you hop on YouTube and you go see what's out there. Someone else has probably done this before and is willing to teach me how to do it. So I hopped on YouTube and I did some searching. And unfortunately, I didn't find a whole lot on wood carving. There are plenty of videos on people just carving themselves, but what I really needed were the tools. What tools do I need to make this thing happen? Now, I do have a DeWalt air compressor, which I'll show you now. And what I needed was something that will be compatible with my air compressor, so some form of pneumatic tool to help get this job done. Now, I knew about the company called Kutzall. They make various rotary tools and burrs and things for grinding and carving wood. And I knew about these bits and I knew that I wanted to use them. So I hopped on Google and I started looking for things to hook to my air compressor that could hold these bits. And maybe I'm just really bad at Googling, which is probably the case. So I contacted the company Kutzall and I said, hey, here's what I'm trying to do. I can't find anything online in terms of a pneumatic device that could hook up to your bits to allow me to wood carve. And they were phenomenal. They sent me a whole spreadsheet of various tools that I could purchase on my own to hook up to my air compressor that would be compatible with their tools. So what I went with was this tool by Ingersoll Rand. Just hooks up to your air compressor like so, and fits a 1/4 inch shank. And I'll link everything that I use in this video in the description below, so if you're interested in carving, you can do this too. And I bought various bits from Kutzall that hook into this Ingersoll Rand piece. In addition, I also have a Kutzall disc, which I use in various portions during this project to make this happen. Without further ado, let me show you how I turned a set of pine 2x4s, construction grade 2x4s, into this. Now the first step is just getting your wood flat to plan for the glue up. Here I'm using a joiner, but you don't necessarily need a jointer to make the wood flat. Now in this step I took some small scale measurements and scaled it up to the size of my project. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer those measurements onto my glued up wood. And then I just freehanded the rest of it once I got the measurements on the wood. Now I just throw the whole thing on the bandsaw to get a rough outline of the whole staff. And this is pretty tedious. And now on to the wood carving. And what I've learned after doing this project, and something that I can share with you, is that there's not really any magic to completing a project like this. It's just taking your carver and gradually paring back the material until you get to your final dimensions. And going through this process is very tedious. This took me about 5 hours to carve. And now I'm just shaping the handle to make it more rounded for the grip. And all these markings that I drew on this previously are obviously going to go away, and I'll have to retrace them after I'm done. Now, I was pretty excited at this point, but there's still a lot of work to go and a lot of sanding to be done. And what I don't show you in this video is the next step, which is the painting process. And I just kind of forgot to film it, so sorry. And I just used some spray paint and made some gradual transitions and taped off some areas for different colors. And here was the final result, which I was pretty happy with. And no, I'm not gonna say, you shall not pass. Like everyone that has, staff, sure. You shall not pass.
Run, you fools.
You shall not pass.
You shall not pass.
You shall not pass.
You shall not pass.
You shall not